Welcome to Back to the Futures, the official podcast of the Futures League, presented by ChangeUp. I'm Owen Shadrick, and I'm joined today by the birthday boy, Johnny Maffey. Johnny, happy birthday. How you doing today, my friend?
Thank you. I appreciate it, Owen. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, whether they're watching or listening. That's all I want for my birthday. Just tune in. Thank you. Appreciate it. We are 52 days away from Futures League opening day on May 26th. I'm going to plug it. I'm going to wipe it, paint it on your brain. May 26th, opening day. Be there, be square. But for now, we have Tyler Favretto on this episode. He's doing great at Crowder College. We have Jack Choate, who just got a million pitchers of the week honors for striking out 19 dudes. Our strikeout king struck out 19 guys in 7 innings pitched against St. A's last week for Assumption College. And then we had Gavin Noriega on last week, who tore it up after our interview. It was during release day, but we talked to him before the series, obviously against Fairfield, where he did well, and he's still doing well. And I'm running out of guys like the Eastern Connecticut guys who we had, Matt Malcolm, we had Billy Oldham, Zorian, Luke Broadhurst. They're top 3 in the country for D3. Tufts is a top 25 team. UMass Boston's getting votes. Futures League is tearing it up right now. I didn't even mention the D1 guys besides Gavin.
Yeah, Futures League is tearing it up right now, and it's been great to see. We've had a lot of these guys on this podcast who have talked great things about the way that their college seasons have started, and Tyler Favretto is one of them. He was a member of the Lake Monsters for the entire season, which is very, very rare to find one of those. But he talked about the roster turned over. He talked about his start at Crowder College and being from Canada, which is cool. I don't know if we've had a Canadian on before.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't even talk about hockey. I mean, that was the last time we had the Lake Monster on with Colby. We talked all about hockey. It was a good conversation. He's going the Juco route, and he's proud of it. And that's baseball right there.
Yeah, that is baseball in its purest form. And we want to get you to this interview. So here is Tyler Favretto.
Let's roll.
We are honored to now welcome on our next guest. He plays his college ball at Crowder College and was a member of the 2021 Futures League champion Vermont Lake Monsters. It's Tyler Favretto. Tyler, how you doing today?
Good, and you? Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Thanks for coming on, Tyler. You got a busy weekend ahead. You've had a busy spring so far. How's that been going?
They're going well. Team's been doing well. We're starting to get on a little bit of a roll, so getting ready for postseason. We about to have a month left of the regular season, so we're looking good so far.
All right, now you got to tell us about Crowder. The simplest way we got to ask this is, how does a kid from Quebec end up in Missouri?
So it's an interesting story. I mean, a bunch of guys over here asked me the same question: is how can a little guy from Canada come down to little town Neosho, Missouri? But there's this back home. We have this scout for the San Francisco Giants who does a little bit of recruiting as well, obviously with all the contacts he has. And just one day he got a call from our coach down here asking if there's any players back home who are good enough or and willing to come down here. And his name is Ray Kalari for the San Francisco Giants, and he gave coach my number. He called me, and then process was quick. We sent some videos to him. He liked what he saw, and the process was pretty much quick. And came down here, and I'm loving it so far. It's a great experience, and it's wonderful.
All right, so we follow, Eric Sim. We see the Twitter accounts. College baseball is going off on social media. How much pride do you take in playing JUCO as a first year freshman right now?
Junior college baseball is just incredible. I think a lot of people are starting to realize how good people are in junior college baseball. Just look at our roster. You can say we have a guy going to LSU next year. We have a guy going to Arkansas next year. We have a guy going to Charlotte. We got other guys talking to Power 5 schools. It's good baseball. It's just as good as Division I. You're gonna face guys throwing 90 plus on mostly every weekend. The pride in playing college baseball, even if it's junior college, it's just amazing. It's the next level. It's a way to get better. and it's just I'm loving my experience here in junior college.
Yeah, some of those tweets that follow this blueprint, like it's not D1 or bust, and it's not Power 5 or bust. It's like, oh, guys are throwing 90 at D3, guys are obviously throwing 90 at Juco, and obviously lower D1 and stuff too. Is that kind of what you were told or recruited on, or did you realize that now, like, hey, it's not D1 or bust, that whole mentality?
I mean, I've always known, being from Canada, that the process of, hopefully making it to the MLB one day is probably going through junior college. Just the recruiting process is a little different being from Canada. You get less people come and see you. The recruiting process is just a little different. And going through junior college is a way to be seen a bit more from that university, hopefully. I mean, being from Canada, like I mentioned, getting that opportunity to go Division 1 right away is a bit tough. You got to be really a big stud, basically. And so I've always wanted to go junior college just for the process of getting more playing time, getting experience, and then hopefully, like I said, once I'm here, to then go to a Division 1 and then see where it takes me from there. But I've always probably wanted to go junior college just for, first of all, there's also the money involved in it. It's a bit less expensive for my family and I. And then, like I said, for just a game playing time experience for then, because I'd probably knowing my talent and stuff like that. Division 1 is obviously good baseball, and I know that junior college is just as good, but I can probably get that more playing time before I can get into that Division 1.
That's the path that a lot of people have followed, and it's turned into major success. So that's perfect.
There's also that process of, you can get drafted out of junior college too if everything goes well, right, after your first or even second year. So it also opens plenty of doors as well to hopefully making it to, which is my goal, to be in an organization one day.
Yeah, of course, it's all about the stepping stones to get to that point. And, going kind of transitioning to your Canadian roots, I should say. You talked about it before we even started recording. You said baseball is an American sport, but it's very prominent in Canada with the Blue Jays and Rogers Center and everything that goes on up there. What has it been like kind of following Canadian baseball throughout your childhood before you got to the States?
I've always been a huge fan of baseball, and my dad always used to talk to me about the Expos, and how he used to watch them when he was a little kid. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch any games because they moved to Washington before I was born, or a year after I was born. But following Canadian baseball is, I mean, Toronto's our team. They represent our country, and they had some few struggling years, but now they look like they turned the path, and it's just amazing. You just hope for the best for them. They're Canada's team. Hopefully one day the Expos come back and we have a team in Montreal. But following Canadian baseball I would say the people who want to follow it are very passionate at following it, and some people follow it just because they like the sport. But Canadian baseball is turning the corner, I think. I think more people are starting to get attracted to it. More people are getting interested in baseball, and that's just, baseball is the best sport in the world, and if more people can play it, then that's amazing.
Absolutely. And the Blue Jays only went 91 and 71 last year. Not good enough in the AL East, unfortunately.
Powerhouse division.
They're making some signings this year. You got to be excited for that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they threw some money around. They have some prospects. They have some young guns.
They're looking really good this year. They made a few trades. Signed a few guys. It's hopefully, I mean, they had a really good season last year. Just that powerhouse division didn't help, but hopefully they get a few more wins this year and make a run in the playoffs.
It's funny because if the playoff expansion worked, I didn't want it to be like whatever the bigger of the two options, but if it did, like, would we have seen 4 AL East teams maybe in the playoffs? Like,
maybe. I think
that's crazy.
I think they expanded it this year, so I possibly, if they play the same way, they could be 4 teams from the AL East. It's powerhouse division.
It's tough if you're on the up and up instead of like, the Yankees who just have been spending money forever and winning zero.
Yeah.
So how far you played in Burlington over the summer? Vermont is close-ish to Montreal.
Yeah, it's about a 2-hour drive just from where I live. Burlington's about a 2-hour drive.
That's not bad at all. That's a lot closer than us, and we're over here in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Did your family get to make it to some Burlington games, or do they see you play at Crowder at all?
So unfortunately during the summer, they weren't able to come down because of COVID and the border restrictions. It was tough for them to come down. We wanted to. They tried. I even tried to go
Yeah,
back
that was
for.
a tough situation.
I even tried to go back for maybe a couple of days just to see them and grab a few stuff for school. But it wasn't able. It was very complicated with the process of having a COVID test and having it within 72 hours, and me being on the road a bit. It was tough to get a test. It sucked. Definitely sucked. I would obviously like to have my parents or some family members come and see me, but um, they weren't able to. I mean, they could have flown down, but the price of airplane tickets at that point were really high because no one was flying, and the people who do, they didn't want people to fly because of obviously COVID, and so prices were really high, and it just wasn't able to work out during the summer, and then here they haven't come to see me yet at Crowder, so I went back home for Christmas. That was the first time. Christmas was the first time I've seen them since the summer. Before I left for the summer, so it was a span of 7 months where I left May 15th to go down to Burlington and get ready for the season, and then I went straight from Burlington down here to Missouri, and I went back home for Christmas time. So it was a span of 7 months where I didn't see my family.
Yeah, that's a long time, and something I didn't even think about. We're we're talking about all these issues with well, at least the sports world is talking about all these issues with vaccinations, and it's like, what about the players that can't go back home and stuff? So that's definitely, I didn't even think of that until Johnny asked it, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the process now will be a bit easier with things easing up. I think and borders being, I mean, opening up a bit more and having maybe a less restrictions on things. So definitely looking forward to the summer and looking up in the stands and seeing my family members.
Yeah, you got to cherish that when that happens. That's
Yeah,
been way too long.
yeah. No, they haven't seen me play in maybe I would say almost 2 years. So I'm looking forward to having my parents and family members watch me play some baseball.
We are too.
Yeah, so are we.
Especially in the best stadium in the FCBL. What can be better?
There's not much better than that, is there? And you were a freshman this year at Crowder. We mentioned it off the top. You've appeared in 8 games, you have an average of 238. What's it been like getting that first college baseball experience under your belt?
It's amazing. College baseball is very different. It takes some time to adapt to the game speed. But once you're in it, you're in it. It's amazing. College baseball is incredible. The players you play with, the people you play against, the things you learn on and off the field. I'm getting experience, and that's what counts. It's going to make me a better baseball player, and that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So today we're recording on Friday, April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day, obviously. This is dropping on Monday, but for everyone that's listening, it's Friday. Crowder's staring at 2 doubleheaders back-to-back days right now. Can you walk us through that routine, that timetable, the process of, what the bus schedule, everything? What's the plan today?
I think tomorrow we're supposed to be at home for a 1 o'clock start on a doubleheader. So we get there at 10:15. We change, get on the field around 10:30. Start getting somewhat loose, get the arms moving a bit. 10:45 we start BP. So for basically what I do, obviously I get there maybe a bit earlier. I get there maybe at 9:30. Roll, get on the foam roller, massage gun, just get my body a bit loose. Change, get on the field, start throwing a bit. 10:45 we start BP. So I'm in group 2. So group 1's hitting. I'm in the indoor getting a few swings in, then hit my BP, and then I go back into the indoor and I do some machine work for receiving, just to see the ball, have a little feel before the game. Then BP usually ends around, I would say 11:30. Then we go to eat, lunch, come back at 12:05. We stretch at 10. We get loose again. Bit longer process of getting loose. And then we have in and out, and then the game starts at 1. And then
very important question.
For the road,
what's on that pregame menu?
To eat?
Yeah.
Whatever the cafeteria has.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, usually
is there any superstition in there?
So I don't really like to eat before games or have a heavy meal before games. I just feel like sometimes I get bloated or I get tired from eating a lot. So when everyone else goes to eat, I usually stay in the indoor. I have usually a fruit, like a banana, protein bar, and I stay and stretch even more. Being a catcher, you gotta make sure your hips and legs and all that kind of stuff is loose for when you play. So I usually stay back and stretch even more, but I still have something to eat, obviously. For the road, it all depends, but we usually get on the bus around between 6 and 8. Depends how far the trip is. And basically same thing. We get there, we change, we hit BP, and then we get ready for the game.
Yeah, that's a packed schedule. I mean, there's just no way around that.
Yeah, no, and it's junior college baseball. You can be on the field for how long? In the fall, we were on the field. I think we started at 1, and I think we got off the field at like 8. We were on the field for 7 hours, maybe. It's
Juco Bandits, baby.
Exactly. You just go through it. I mean, it is what it is, and you have fun doing it.
Yeah, and you just talked about your pack schedule at JUCO. There's also the pack schedule of the Futures, the Futures League and playing summer baseball. So what are comparisons besides that between JUCO and the Futures League?
I feel like, JUCO, you have a lot of obviously you have school. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You still have to do some schoolwork. And all that process, but sometimes it's tough because, like I said, you get back and you just want to go to bed. I think it's a lot of comparisons. I mean, I think the Futures League prepared myself a lot for junior college baseball. The Futures League was my first kind of. It's like I got my feet wet in college baseball, basically, and I think it prepared me a lot for junior college baseball. It's like it almost gave me a season under my belt, and it prepared me. It allowed me to see what kind of college baseball is, what kind of arms we're going to face, velocity wise, pitch wise, the game, the speed of the game, how other players think. And so there's a lot of comparisons in the way of schedule. I mean, like you said, FCB has a packed schedule, which I mean, I just love playing baseball, and having that packed schedule, I think, allowed me to prepare for junior college baseball, as in it's just the same thing what I did in the summer.
Yeah, so you talked about getting your feet wet. You got obviously a bunch of at bats, a bunch of reps against, pitching from all levels of the NCAA. You went a step further than that. You got your feet wet with some playoff experience, some championship experience, some Game 3 experience of the FCBL championship. How did that help you maybe even more, like game on the line at Crowder or runner in scoring position, got like just the pressure, those extra reps, in intense situations?
So it helps me a lot. You can speak to teammates too about it too. I mean, one of the teammates during the summer, Jimmy Evans, was big on just not taking the moment, not putting the moment too high. He would always talk about just go out there and have fun. Is basically the thing, having that experience of dealing with high pressure games and going through the process with teammates of thinking, just go have fun. It's just a game of baseball. And going through that experience already during, like you said, the playoff run and game 3, championship game where it's you win or you go home, taking that and just coming here with it and just basically saying, I've done it before. I've been in high pressure situations. I can do it again. And so, I'm a big believer in on experience. The more experience you have, the more comfortable you will be in those situations. And so living that experience of that championship run and losing game 1 and having to win game 2, and then hopefully in that winner take all game 3, obviously the pressure's up there. The stakes are a little bit higher, and having gone through that, and I can use that later on in my career, and especially over here when, there's big situations. I can always rely on that. Be like, okay, I've done this before. Just go out there and have fun.
Hold on, we'll get right back to the Futures, but first, we want to share a message from our friends at 78 Sports. Do you have kids playing baseball or softball? We all know practice time is limited, especially here in New England, not to mention the cost of lessons and cage time can add up very quickly. Save yourself time and money by giving your kids what they need to work on their game at home. Our friends at 78 Sports can help you put together the perfect at-home training setup. Whether you want to start small with just a tee and a net, or looking to set up a full cage with turf and a pitching machine, they have you covered. And I've used their stuff before. I've seen their facilities. They definitely cover everything. The team at 78 Sports design and install hundreds of at-home and commercial sports training facilities. So let them help you find the perfect setup for your space. Visit the 78 Sports website at 78sports.com. That's SEVENTY, the number 8, sports.com. For a limited time only, by just mentioning Back to the Futures, you'll receive a 10% discount off your order. That's SEVENTY, number 8, sports.com. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, and you guys certainly looked like you were having fun when Chris Clark dealt that strike 3, and you guys were the official champions of the Futures League. Take us through that moment. What was it like being, knowing that you were a champion?
It was surreal. I got goosebumps just from you saying we were champions. It was amazing. It was a hard summer. It was a fun summer with a lot of hard work put in. And you just think about all the hard work you went through the whole summer, and you just did it. We set out a goal, we wanted to win it, and we did. And it was amazing being with that group of guys who've worked hard, who didn't give up. We lost game 1. Could have been easy just to have been, you know what, we're going to Pittsfield. Let's just kind of throw it away and let them win it at home. But we said, no, we want to go back to Burlington and win it. And after Chris Clark got that last out, man, you just burst out in enjoyment. It was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Chris Clark's been shoving for Harvard now. They're on a roll. You talked about Jimmy Evans, who's creating, whole new high pressure situations as Tufts is ranked now in D3. Have you been keeping in touch with other guys, catching up with everyone, or is everyone kind of just focused on baseball right now?
No, I'm definitely keeping in touch with a couple of guys. Jimmy, I keep in touch with him just to see how he's doing. I know he's doing pretty well right now with Tufts. Keep in touch with Colby a bit, Colby Brulette, and a couple of other guys. But no, that was a great group of guys, guys that I got close with, and guys that I'll definitely stay in touch with throughout my career. And some of them I'll be teammates with again next summer, and I'm looking forward to that. It's a good group of guys, and that was I was with last summer, and the guys coming back are good people, good players, and good teammates, and that's what makes a summer even better, when you can win championships and the people you win it with are going to be good friends for life.
Yeah, and you just touched on it. Colby Brulette, we had him on episode 1 of season 4 of this podcast. He talked very highly of you and the rest of your Vermont teammates. What's it like playing with him and now getting the chance to play with him again here in 2022?
So I had a short stint with him. He was maybe there for about a month. He joined us late in the season, but he's great. He brings a lot of energy. when you're around him, you always got to smile. He's always going to make you laugh. He's going to make you smile. If you're down, you can just go around him and he'll get you in good spirits. He's amazing. He's a good ball player. He's a good teammate. Someone you can always go to talk to about, if you're struggling a bit, he'll calm you down and just relax. You're going to have other at bats and go out there and kind of have some fun, like Jimmy would say, and he would say it too. But no, he's a great guy. Like I said, he's going to make you laugh. He's a good teammate. And it was a pleasure playing with him, and I'm looking forward to having a whole summer with him this time.
Yeah, we're happy to have him for a whole summer too, a full 60 plus games, hopefully for Colby and you. And so, but like you said, short stint. A lot of guys had short stints. You lost a lot of guys early. We talked about that enough. We've drained all that, but that's kind of what summer ball is all about. But you were there from May, from the jump, like you said. May 15th, you said, I think you went to Burlington. Could you even name everyone? Like, did you even get everyone's phone number? Like, there were a ton of guys on that roster.
I feel like I could name quite a few guys. I mean, we had, I don't know, I would say maybe like 60 guys come in. I mean, that could be really over.
In and out.
No, I honestly think that's accurate.
Yeah, it was a bunch of guys. We had one guy show up and then it was like, no, I don't like it. And he left. And we had to get a few guys who stayed for the whole season, a few guys who had to leave because of school, obviously. And a few guys wanted to go home for a bit, or their school wanted them to go home before they even come to school. But no, we got a bunch of guys. I mean, I think I can name a few of them. Phone numbers.
Oh, you don't need it. You don't need to name them all. I was just...
Phone numbers, definitely not. I think my phone would lose. Saying you have too many contacts if that was the case. But I mean, they're all good guys. I mean, even if they were there for a bit, I think they got close to our group. They knew that, we were a close group, a close team. And then anyone who came in, we accepted them right away. Obviously, they're going to be part of the journey and hopefully the goal. And that's what we did. Like I said, we accepted them. We welcomed them with open arms, and everyone who came in were good people, good teammates. And like you said, that's what makes the summer even better, is when you can do it with good people.
Yeah, of course. And clearly those people had an impact on you as you are back for the 2022 summer, as we mentioned. What led to that decision?
I think it was a no-brainer. I think right after we won that third game, and you're just sitting around, and I go, Pete, I want to come back. And he's like, I think we can make that happen. And so I think it was a no-brainer. Just the fans, the organization, they treat you top notch. Like I said, the fans are invested in you. We get a lot of fans every game. They want to see you succeed, and they cheer you on. I mean, the FCBL is just a great league as well. Even when we go on the road, we play in some nice stadiums, we play in some nice crowds. The league is competitive. And I just looked at it as I took a huge step forward in my career, in my baseball career, just this one summer. How can I not come back and get better next summer again? So it was a no-brainer, like I said. I don't think it took long for me, Pete, to agree on that we both wanted to come back, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great summer.
Yeah, and of course, the Lake Monsters announced that co-manager of the year, Pete Wilk, will be back at the helm in Vermont, in Burlington, at Centennial Field, in front of those packed crowds. What have you learned from Coach Wilk so far and the rest of the staff? And what are you looking forward to, maybe developing more this summer?
Pete and Coach Fincher, they taught me a lot. Even Chris Richards, they taught me a lot. They helped me grow. They helped me develop a lot in my baseball career and my game. From the defensive side to the offensive side as well. Just a few things defensively on receiving, hitting. I know I struggled a bit at the beginning of the year, and I worked hard with Chris Richards, the hitting coach, and even with Matt Fincher, and then they cleaned it up a little, and I started to get hot during the end of the season. but they taught me a lot. I think what I can continue learning from them is just gaining their knowledge. They've been around the game for so long. They know so many things. I can start gaining more of their knowledge. I mean, I know me and Pete still talk about, what I can improve on for next year. And, one of the things he mentions was just having just being good with your pitchers, having a good relationship with your pitchers, having their trust, controlling the staff. And I feel that, last year maybe I was a bit timid, being just having no college experience, just trying to play and get better. And now going through that summer and going through this college season, going into Vermont next year, I could definitely improve on that, where I can have maybe speak up a bit more, and I know my place, and talk with have a better relationship with my pitchers, and go from there. But Pete, Coach Fincher, Chris Richards, even Joey, they played a big role in my development. They helped me grow as a person, as a player. They helped me even mature, and so I'm grateful for them.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and that's that's the formula that we hope for in the Futures League coming out of the coming out of the summer, is that like people like you who don't have as much college experience are growing, and guys like Pete Wilk are helping out with that, so that's great. And Vermont does a lot of promotions like the rest of the league, but they do it. Some of them are quite funny. What do you have a favorite of any of the promotions that they do?
The on-field ones are always fun. You always get a good laugh out of them. I think the race from first base line to about third base line, or to the third base line, was always fun. You always got you get a little bit of laughs out of that one. It's just funny, people fall. People actually go intense and they want to win it. Then you have some people who tackle people. It's always fun. I think that would be my favorite one.
Have you ever tried to fit in the Teslas, the mini
No.
Teslas?
Definitely not. I don't want to. No. Those look expensive, so I don't want to try to sit in one and break one. So, and then I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm 0 for 1 on trying to get in those.
You might have to come on and do that in-game experience there. You and Owen might have to be the two people racing those cars.
Oh no, yeah, we tried. No, we didn't fit. The tricycles had to do.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get to our final segment, one more question about 2022, about the upcoming season. You have this new role, like you were, kind of alluding to. How do you plan on, you're still young, you're still only a freshman, you're going to be a sophomore technically in the summer. How do you plan on, still taking everything in from the coaches, from the older kids, but also like, hey, you're teaching these new kids that have never seen baseball in Burlington before, Futures League baseball before. How do you plan on like balancing those two different hats you're going to wear?
I just look at it at how I can get better and how I can get other people better. I think that's the biggest thing you can do is help teach other people, but still getting information to make you better. Having a year under my belt in the FCBL, I'm going to be able to help people who haven't been in that league before and how it works, with the tough schedule and being on the road, and dealing with, coming back late from a road trip and having to come back to the field in the morning to get ready for another game. Just, dealing with that process and helping them, if they have any questions, and just to continue to get myself better by taking in information from older guys or even coaching staff, just to continue to help my development, is the best thing. I want to continue to get better as a baseball player. That's the goal. Each and every day is just to get better, And so if I continue to do that, I feel that you can still get better while teaching other people. You can see in spring training, you have Yadier Molina teaching rookie Cardinals catchers how to just some tips. Yadi knows that he's going to win the job, and he knows that he's pretty good, but he's not cocky. He's going to help teach other people, because I feel like that he knows that if he teaches it, he's still going to get better at doing it. And so I can take that. I can look up to that and be like, all right, I can help these guys that are first timers in the league, help them out if they have any questions, while also still taking in information to get better.
Yeah, and again, I talked about the formula of the Futures League earlier. That's a pretty good one right there.
Yeah.
Before we return to Back to the Futures, we want to share a message from our friends at Zorian Bat Company. Rob Zorian started the company, Zorian Bat Company, in 2003, literally out of the trunk of his car in Davie, Florida. Within 2 years, he was selling his wood bat line to Major League Baseball and continues to manufacture the highest grade wood bats for Little League all the way up to the majors. Rob Zorian, founder and president of Zorian, says, I started the company in 2003 to service all baseball players in the United States and beyond. And after 19 years, our mission has not changed. We are very excited to have the opportunity to work with the Futures League and wish all of our players and coaches a healthy and successful season ahead. For more information about Zorian, visit their website, zorianbats.com. Zorian, America's baseball brand. Now, back to the Futures. And we now move on to our final segment. It's called Quick Hits. It's presented by Zephyr, the official on-field hat of the Futures League. Zephyr, high quality and innovative design since 1993. So, Tyler, we got a few more questions to wrap up the show here. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. Who was your favorite teammate to play with this summer in Vermont?
I would say, there's a lot of good options. You got Colby, you got Jimmy, but I feel like Colby was there for a small stint. I would probably say Jimmy. He calmed me down in a lot of situations. We worked well together. We would do some extra work, early work together. Say, hey, it's just a game. Go out there and have fun. It's a game of failure. I can't put too much pressure on myself, and he was always there. But no, it would probably be Jimmy. It was great to have him during the summer.
Yeah, Jimmy, of course, the championship MVP. Is a lot of people's favorite teammate after that.
Uh-huh.
And what about walk-up music, whether it's at Crowder or in Burlington? What are you blasting through the speakers?
Being from Canada, I got to support my boy Drake. Being from Canada as well. I got same song as I had for the summer over here. It's nice for what from Drake. Brings me back to my Canadian roots and makes me think about home right before my bat, and that's what I'm blasting through the speakers.
Awesome. And then how about favorite big league team and big league player, whether it's current or historical?
All right. So I like two teams. I like the Washington Nationals that transfer from the Montreal Expos. Just followed them since they moved, and the Toronto Blue Jays, obviously. And my favorite MLB player would probably be Bryce Harper. The energy he brings to the game is incredible. He goes all out all the time. Obviously, an exceptional player with plus tools where he just does everything. And so I would say Bryce Harper.
You brought up Yachty earlier. What are some other catchers you look up to or try to model your game after, learn from?
I look up to JT Realmuto a lot, the way he receives, the way he throws really well on the bases. And another one I look up to is Russell Martin. I know he's also Canadian as well. He's pretty much retired from the MLB, but I just look at him. He used to play infield in college, and then he made the transition to catching late in his career. And I just look at him, just how athletic he was, how smart he was in calling games, and how well he worked with his pitchers. A bunch of pitchers say how good of a relationship they had with him, and that's credit to him too, because he probably put in that effort to get to know them and work with them. So I think those two would be the two that I look up to: JT Realmuto and Russell Martin.
Yeah, it's funny with Martin. Usually it's, the other way around. Usually the guy's knees hurts and he's like, all right, time to play first base. Yeah. But that was not the case there. Not the case with you, obviously. What about your favorite ballpark you've played in and one you've been at as a fan?
Played in would be Burlington, Centennial Field. It's historic. Fans fill up the stands. That game 3, we probably had 3,000 fans in there. It was a packed crowd. So I would say played in would be Centennial Field, and as a fan it would probably be Rogers Center. I went down for a playoff game in Toronto to watch the Blue Jays. I think they played in the Cleveland Indians that year, and it was electric. The place was booming, and it was amazing. So those two places are it for me.
I was getting into it just watching that series on TV down here. That was that was electric.
It was electric. I think the building was shaking. It was so loud and everybody was screaming. It was amazing.
Building was shaking, bats were flying.
Yeah.
Fists have flown in those series. That's all you can ask for. What's on your sports bucket list?
Sports bucket list. My sports bucket list. Ooh, that's a good question. To win a national championship, either in junior college or the 4-year once I move on. I think that's the biggest one. I feel like the relationships you make with your teammates in college are ones that will last a long time, a lifetime. And so it'd be just amazing to win one with a college team. You know, you go through the hard process of fall, where you're up at 5:45 to work out at 6, and you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. And so you go through a lot of things with your teammates, and I think rewarding yourself at the end of the year with a national championship, and to be recognized as the best program in the nation would be top of my list.
Great goal to have. And last question of our quick hits segment presented by Zephyr. What's your favorite all-time baseball memory?
All-time baseball memory. All-time favorite baseball memory would I keep it very simple. There's a lot of things, but I think my favorite one is just playing catch with my dad in the backyard. I don't think there's anything better than just you and your pops playing catch in the backyard. I remember doing it as a kid. I think I annoyed him so much to be like, Dad, hey, can we go throw in the backyard? Hey, Dad, can we go throw in the backyard? And all the sacrifices he made, he probably didn't want to do it. He was probably tired from coming back home from work, but he said yes all the time. And I think I keep it simple. There could be other things, but I like to look back, and I think that would be just the best memory of baseball is as a young kid, just going out to your backyard and throwing the ball with your dad.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Owen. You've been on the podcast for a couple seasons longer than me, but that put all the other ones to shame.
I was literally just going to say that. Yeah, that was awesome. It's the simple things in life, and that's a great answer right there. And before we sign off, how about a message to Lake Monster fans as you are officially back for the 2022 summer?
Lake Monsters fans, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to see you guys in the stands cheering us on. I'm ready to go out there and defend our title and hopefully bring one back to Burlington. Hope to see you guys in stands. See you guys soon, and go Lake Monsters.
Yeah, we can't wait to see everybody in the stands this summer. And Tyler, this has been great. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to following you the rest of the season at Crowder and seeing you this summer in Burlington.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. Good luck. We'll see you this summer. Hopefully your family can make it to some games this summer too.
Perfect. Thank you.
For sure. And this has been episode 10 of season 4 of Back to the Futures, the official podcast of the Futures League. We have new episodes coming out every Monday. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see everyone soon.